So it seems we all survived the fall back, right? Everybody enjoy their extra hour of sleep? Yeah? It's too early in this homily for you to be asleep. I don't know. You've all had extra sleep, But it's been a busy week, right? We talked about that last week. We had a busy week. We had in Chillicothe, we had one of our brothers. He went to Mass last night, but one of our brothers got confirmed, as well as 3 youngsters from Blessed Sacrament Parish in Bethany. Got the great sacrament of confirmation, along with, I'm doing math in my head, 13 other kids. Great. So then we had Halloween, and it was only Halloween on Monday because of course it was All Saints Day on Tuesday. All Saints Day. Of those of you who were here, I celebrated Mass here on Monday night. But if you made any of the masses that I preached at, we talked about the importance of All Saints Day and how we celebrate, those folks in heaven, and how when we think about the church, it's handy to think about the church as being made up of 3 different sets of people, right? And All Saints Day, we celebrated that first set of people, the folks who are in heaven right now, experiencing God face to face, experiencing the technical term here, ready for the technical term, is the beatific vision, right? Being able to encounter God in heaven face to face. And then Wednesday we celebrated All Souls Day. We celebrated all that, what we call the church suffering. All those people who passed from this world, but still had some more work to do, huh? Still need to be encounter some purgation, some cleansing, some extra work in order to be able to fruitfully and fully encounter God face to face. So of course, because of that purgation, we see those folks who are in purgatory, or as I said, the church suffering. In a special way, we celebrate on this coming Wednesday the rest of us. Those of us who are on earth, who are still struggling in our lives of faith, our lives of love, our lives of virtue, as difficult as they can be, right? This Wednesday is a special day. We celebrate the anniversary of the dedication of St. John Lateran Basilica in Rome. St. John Lateran, even though there's lots of basilicas in Rome, and only 4 of them are major basilicas, St. John Lateran, St. Peter's, St. Paul outside the wall, and St. Mary Major. But St. John Lateran is the only one that serves as the Pope's cathedral. And because it's the Pope's cathedral, we recognize it as the mother church of all the churches in the world. And so, because we're all parts in our different ways of our different church communities, parish communities, mission communities, we are all looked toward St. John Lateran in Rome as the mother church of all the churches. In the same way, our cathedrals are the mother churches of our diocese. St. John Lateran is the mother church of the whole world, and so we recognize in that way the church on earth, right? The church militant. But my sisters and brothers, we are called today in our readings to not think about any of those. Because what we are invited to think about today, my sisters and brothers, is to consider the resurrection from the dead. The resurrection of the body, when we are all called at the culmination of all things, after the final judgment, to receive our bodies back, although they'll be glorified bodies, so they're not quite the bodies we have now. There will be our bodies, but what exactly they'll be like, I guess we'll find out. I hope to find out. We hear this, right? We hear this, the 7 brave brothers and their mother being coerced into going along with the greater culture, the broader culture, who demanded they acquiesce and start engaging in practices that they recognize or completely dehumanizing. But they, as we recognize that our relationship with God is far more important, and striving to live lives of virtue and purity much more important than just doing what society told them to do. And they suffered far more, I trust, that we will ever suffer for resisting the wider culture. They recognized, we heard the third brother. That's right. Make a joyful noise, sister, I love it. Exactly. Preach it, sister. We heard the third brother offer his hands, right? And recognize that it was from heaven that he received those hands. And from God he hopes to receive them again. Hope in the resurrection, recognition of the resurrection of the body at the end of time. The fourth brother, right? It is for my choice to die at the hands of men with the hope God gives of being raised up by him. No, sisters and brothers, it's great to think about heaven, but we are challenged today to think far beyond heaven. Yes, sisters and brothers, this month we have a lot of opportunities to think about what the church is and who we are as church and who we are in the church. But we are called in justice to behold God's face and our waking to be content in his presence. We strive through this life of faith, this life of love, this life of joy, this opportunity that Christ gives us, that the Lord may direct our hearts to the love of God and to the endurance of Christ. We are called not only to heaven, but, as I say, to the resurrection of the body, because those who were deemed worthy to attain the coming age and to the resurrection of the dead neither marry nor are given in marriage. We are called to a different type of physicality, to a different type of relationship. We are called to a life after the resurrection of the body, to no longer die and be like angels. We are not called to be angels, right? We are called to be like angels insofar as we experience God face to face, and our relationship is primarily focused on God, but we will always be human persons, huh? This week, my sisters and brothers, while we sure contemplate the meaning of what it means to be a church, what it means to be in that church, to be followers of Jesus, we will also meditate on what we are called to be after the final judgment, what we are called to be after the resurrection of the body, and rejoice, because God is not the God of the dead, but of the living, for to God all are alive. Praised be Jesus Christ, now and forever.